Hey guys, good morning. It's Robert Blackman, president of Felice Cafe. Kind of on a little chilly this morning here in Oklahoma. Going to take a little drink of our brand new AM coffee. You're going to see a sample. We're going to talk about that today. My training today is going to be on another philosophy we have here at Felice Cafe. And after being in the business for 39 years, I've got a lot of information to share with you, but it also really comes down to really the most simplest thing in the world. Show the plan. One of my greatest mentors was Bill Britt from Amway, including John Maris, Paul Miller in Amway. Also outside of that was Dale Calvert. One of my mentors, but also one of my best friends, still is today, is Joe Schroeder. Joe and I developed some of the best postcard and direct mail campaigns ever, and we made a lot of money in a compressed pay plan together. And so when I reach back and when Sharon and I decided to do Felice Cafe and put it together, we were trainers from about, I think our last big build was 1999 to 2001. We helped create a system, put in 80,000 people online. Still today, the most successful system, 3 million opt-ins, 80,000 upgrades at $155. Nobody's touched that. That was back when people would actually open up their email. There was no spam folder. So it was all email driven, conference call driven. So when I look back and I try to pull out of my brain and say, well, what are we going to do different at Felice Cafe? What's never been done before? Well, you have to look at success. Success leaves clues. And success in network marketing leaves clues. And I'm going to speak about myself personally here. This may apply to you. I found myself over the last 39 years or so frantically going to trainings, either for my parent company that I was with or for generic trainers, spending hundreds or thousands of dollars I really didn't have because I was trying to find the secret. And today I'm going to share with you what I believe the secret is and what I believe that our profession has gotten away from. I remember when Sherry and I were just trainers, we just had profit leads and we weren't really building a primary, and we'd hold meetings, we'd do webinars, we do conference calls, I do coaching, and because it was profitable, we were able to make good money as just generic trainers. And I'd have leaders call me and say, stop teaching my team anything, you're confusing them. I'd had company owners, compliance officers send me emails that would say that we're going to sue you if you continue to contact our XYZ company members with your trainings. Because they didn't really like me making money off of their team, because this was training they felt that the upline should be providing. But we all know that not all uplines do, and that's the reason why there's a marketplace for that. We tapped into that. I personally don't have any problem with that because I was one of them, still do some training. But I decided at age 57, you know what, if what I know is so good, why don't I just go out and do it myself? So we went out and looked for a company. We couldn't find one. So make a long story short, we developed the company that we would want to join, which is Felice Cafe. And we like to say this, and I think you ought to write this down. This will be our slogan. Felice Cafe is a company built by distributors for distributors. Felice Cafe is a company built by distributors for distributors. Sherry and I are former distributors, and we built this for a company that we'd like to do. And you're going to see me talk a lot about this, what I believe. You can kind of break down into any downline report, any commission report, which we've seen thousands of them, either our own or when we were consulting with startup companies or companies that were already established. I remember flying on a jet from here in Oklahoma to St. Louis, and one of the big VPs of this $50 million a year company leaned over and he goes, "Can you help us?" And I go, "Well, yeah, I thought that's why I'm here. You guys have hired me to help you." He goes, "Our internet business is the worst business." He goes, "I wish we could get rid of it." And I listened and I took notes and found out, and so we got to see all the results. And so we put things into place that would help those internet signups become more like a local or a warm market signup. Success leaves clues. Just go to dsa.org and you can see the top 100 network marketing companies there. They're all warm market meeting, local meeting, conferences. They're all people to people, belly to belly. So for me, I used to run around looking for the secret. And here was the secret that Bill Britt taught me. And this was a classic Bill Britt. And if you never got a chance to watch Bill Britt, you ought to Google him and go to YouTube. I call him the General Patton of network marketing. He was a no BS guy. Remind me a lot of my dad. My dad was a World War II vet, a gunnery sergeant, and it was show me, don't snow me. And Bill would just get in your face, and I love that because I needed that. I need someone to push and motivate me. So what Bill would say from stage is they had their big pin level that they wanted you to go to. It was called direct. So you always wanted to go to direct in Amway, which was about $15,000 in volume, which would make you on average, what they would say $2,100 a month if you drew it out correctly, what they call the old 642 plan. And if you've never seen that, you got to realize one of the most brilliant things that Amway did is that they could have anybody walk away from a meeting or a cocktail napkin at a Denny's, and someone would show them the 642 plan. That's you go out and find six. They don't do as good as you. They find four. They don't do good as you. They find two. And if you do that, you're at $2,100 a month. So all the guys had to do is come back from a meeting, and the wife would go, "What was this? I don't know. We can make $2,100 a month. We know six people, don't we?" So they showed the math, and what we show the math here at Felice Cafe is what we call a 20 club, four who get four, $660 a month. So Bill used to say this, which was great, is a dog with a note in his mouth could go direct. And I want you to marinate on that for a little bit because it took me a long time. It took me tens of thousands of dollars going to convention, to training, generic, company sponsored, buying people's $997 online courses, how to get rich without ever talking to anybody. I've done everything. I've bought everything. If there was a shortcut, I would have found it by now because Lord knows I've spent enough time and money looking for it. Because as entrepreneurs, we're always looking for a better, faster, easier way because that's what we do. And then we want to do something new because we get bored, right? And that's the reason why most network marketers don't stay more than 2 to 5 years is once they get it built and they get an income level that they emotionally or subconsciously or even consciously believe that they deserve, then they get bored and go do something else. That's a whole nother subject in a book I'm doing called The Psychology of Network Marketing. That's going to be coming out this next year. So what I have realized is that I'm gonna kind of take Bill's slogan and I'm gonna adapt it for Felice Cafe. And what I've got here is I've got what we call it's a sample on a postcard, and we call it a Sherry designed the name Cafe Card. And if you don't know it, Felice Cafe the name was designed when Sherry and I were talking about starting a company. I said, hey, I want to do coffee, and she goes, why? And I go, it's a great delivery system, second most consumed beverage behind water. You don't have to train people how to drink coffee. You don't have to remind them to order it. Matter of fact, if they're out of coffee, they're late for work going to go get a cup of coffee somewhere, right? And so when we came up with it, I said, well, we got to send out samples. And she goes, samples is such a blasé. It's a non. It's a non-word. I don't even know what she called it, but she goes, no, not sample. She goes, we're going to call it a cafe card. Since we're called Felice Cafe, it's a cafe card. And she goes, Rob, you're the direct mail guy. So what I'm going to be able to do here is I've been able to take my years of direct mail experience, and we're putting attaching a sample to the card. And on the back of it is the ingredients. And so I'm going to say, and here's what my training is today, is a dog with a cafe card in their mouth can build a 20 club. Okay, so a dog with a cafe card in their mouth can build a 20 club, and that's four who get four. If they're all at 100 CV, you're at $660 a month. Boom, there's your training. There's no need to come to Vegas and spend $1,000 to see me, okay? Because that's it. And now today I'm going to talk a little bit of how this applies to the 95 and the 5%ers. And if you've never heard any of my trainings before, in each organization I've ever built, I've always had people, which are the 5%ers, which I believe are the people that can build any program. Doesn't matter what the pay plan is, product is, price point, new company, old company, it doesn't matter. The 5%ers are always going to make money because they have a system. The 95%ers are always the people that are part-timers. They may not have the time to go to training. Maybe they're not on a reoccurring order. Maybe they've never been in the business before. Maybe they've been in the business for 20 years and never made more than they spent, okay? But there's always that category. And so I'm going to tell you today is that the majority of us have spent our time going to trainings where the 5%ers are trying to learn the secret. Here's the secret. Here's the secret. Is getting a cafe card. He or she who passes out the most cafe cards wins. It's about getting a customer. Everybody at Felice Cafe has to come in as a customer first. There's no distributor kits. You can't sign in as a distributor. We believe that if just because you buy a distributor kit doesn't mean you're a distributor. You're not a distributor until you distribute something, which means you get to sell something. This is sales. It's a form of sales. And as Tom Schreider, another one of my mentors, would say, is that you've been doing network marketing all your life. You just have never you haven't been paid for it. So you recommend movies, women's shoes, clothes, restaurants, all that type of thing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you really quick how to do this. This is all the training that you're ever going to need from me to be successful. Now, before I go into that, I'm going to tell you that there's a lot of broke 5%ers out there today. I used to be one of them, okay? What we would call intelligence on ice. I knew so much but I had no activity because I had been burned out, because I had been jumping from program every 2 to 5 years, and I didn't know why. And the reason why I was jumping is because the 95%ers, after 90 days to 180 days, would drop out because they were never making any money. And it's my belief that not only do they not get trained properly how to just get a note in a dog's mouth, but they also had a compensation plan that was stacked against them. So they were part-time people in a full-time comp plan, and they got in to make money, and what ended up happening, they would spend more money than they were making. So they got in to make money, and they actually got in and they lost money in network marketing. And that's not a knock on the business model. It's just a reality after 39 years of doing it over and over and over again. So I finally realized that, there's a trend here. The trend is there's a 95% group. Now here's another analogy and a reality. In my programs, there's a lot of 95%ers that are making more than the 5%ers. Why? Because the 5%ers are intelligence on ice. The 95%ers that we're going to teach are going to be intelligence on fire. We've all heard the old adage, I'd rather be ignorance on fire versus intelligence on ice. Well, I'm a big believer to make it positive. Let's be intelligence on fire. And the intelligent thing in network marketing is exposure. Show the plan. He or she that shows the most plans work. They make the money. They win. He or she that passed out the most cafe cards win. So here's what you do. And we've already been doing this, testing this right now. We had a gal that took 10 of these to her office. And I said, put out 5. Sherry said, put out 5 of them. And don't say anything. She went to court, came back after lunch because he works at a law firm. Two people hit her at the door and say, are you the one that put this in here? First, she was a little nervous, thinking she was in trouble, and they go, I love this stuff. Can I get some more? So she calls and she goes, what do I do now? Okay, so we taught her what she should do, which is, okay, well, let me get your information, and as soon as we launch, we're going to give you an order. If we were already launched, we'd have just had an order form in her hand. She could take it, give them the website, boom, she's got a customer. So what she did, she had somebody come up to her because she put the other 5 on her desk, and someone came by and said, what's that? And I said, well, I'm in a brand new coffee company called Felice Cafe. Have you ever heard of it? No, I haven't. Well, what does it do? And so she grabs the card and she goes, well, it gives you more energy, manages your weight, more focus, and has powerful antioxidants in it. You pour it in a cup, you add hot water, you mix well, and then you enjoy it. Would you like to try one? If I gave you this cafe card, if I gave you the sample, would you try it? Or, if they're not a coffee drinker, if I gave you this, can you tell me who I should talk to? Can you give this to somebody else? Then they're going to go, okay, so now they know, what does it do? Well, what's in it? Bada bing. There it is. And look at that box down there. That's where you can put your contact information. So, oh, by the way, the header is your morning brew with health benefits too. I can't pronounce 3/4 of these words. If I had to be successful in this business, I would fail. That's why I wrote them out. This is for me, all right? It's for you. So the deal is, what does it do? What's in it? Can I try it? And if I want more information, want to get some, what do I do? This is your salesperson. This is all the training that you're ever going to need at Felice Cafe. You don't need to spend $1,000 to fly to Vegas or Orlando or Dallas or Norman, Oklahoma, and for us to teach you about how to overcome objections. Yes, it's a skill set. Yes, I've got a great skill set after 39 years, but I will tell you, I was intelligence on ice for about a decade out of my 39 years. I was a freaking broke know-it-all. And there's a lot of them out there, a lot of guys and gals like me, because we just got burned out from going from program to program, people leaving, companies closing, just battle fatigue. Okay, I mean, it's a battle to be self-employed. It's a battle to be in network marketing. It's the best profession out there. It's better than traditional business. It's better than a job. And I know it's a lot better than doing trading, because I tried that, and that's the most stressful thing in the world. So for me, this is the business. This is the training you need. And we're going to have these available where you can buy them. They're commissionable because they have a product on them, so there's CV on them. We're also going to have it where there's an app. So if you just want to type in somebody's name, guess what? We email this out for you. It's a postcard. Direct mail works. How many times do you order from Amazon? Don't you just love getting stuff in your mailbox or your front door in a package? People love getting stuff in the mail. People love getting stuff for free handed out to them. And here's something really neat that we designed, is when you take the sample off and you have this at work, don't throw this away. Here's what we had this gal do. She goes, well, I've got all these cafe cards. They don't have a sample on them. Well, what do I do? And I go, put them back right here. See, what we did is we actually put it where it looks like there's a sample on it, okay, of the coffee, the AM coffee. I go, just lay that back down into the coffee room. And now here's what people are doing. They're coming up and they see her name. They say, hey, I went to go try one of these. It's gone. Can I get one from you? She goes, sure. So the cafe cards still work when there's nothing attached to it. All right. That's the beauty behind what we're doing. And all you have to do is take this little guy here, pop it open, put it into a coffee cup, and add hot water. Now, if you're like me and you like really strong stuff, you got a strong constitution, I make my regular cup of coffee, and we're going to have regular coffee at Felice Cafe down the road. And I take my regular cup of coffee and I just pour this in it. And Sherry can't drink that, but I can, because I'm one of those guys that, likes it, like cowboy coffee. So, to wrap up today, are you a 5%er or a 95%er? It doesn't matter. I just trained you how to do our business. If I gave you this cafe card, if I will you, that's another mentor of mine, Eric Worre. I didn't come up with that. If I will you try the coffee, or if I gave you the cafe card, would you tell me who I need to talk to? All right. That's the whole business right there. That's it. Your information's on the back. What's in it's on the back. What it does is on the front. And I guarantee you, coffee drinkers know this. Robert, why don't you give out more samples? We don't need to. Here's what I know on the first sip of any coffee. It's either or it's yuck. Have you ever gone to some 7-Eleven or some kind of pit stop and you got a cup of coffee, you got in the car to keep you awake and go, that is the worst cup of coffee ever, but you drink it anyway because you need the caffeine? So here's what we get people that tell us. They drink it and they go, well, I thought it was going to be a lot worse than that. With all of these ingredients in it, there's no way this can taste good. Well, ours tastes good. So coffee drinkers don't need 6 samples or 12 samples or a box of them to buy them. They just need one. So that's why we put one on there. And we know you're going to feel it in the first 30 minutes to 2 hours. And you're going to either like it or you're not. And you're either going to want some more or you're not. And so that's our business. No need to fly out to Norman. We'd love to see you. But guess what I'm going to tell you? Is a dog with a cafe card in their mouth can build a 20 club, and that's 4 who get 4 at 660. Regardless if you're a 95% or part-time or a 5% or full-time, it doesn't matter. And even in Felice Cafe, we're going to see a division of that, because guess what? That's human nature. And I'll leave you this one antidote. I remember when I was 12 years old and I went to church camp. I don't know if any of you have ever gone to church camp before. And it was at John Brown University in Arkansas. Gosh, I can't believe I remember that. And they got together. They were going to teach us how to go out and save people. save them to Christ so they can become Christians. Scared the living daylights out of me because all I knew was John 3:16 because I didn't pay attention to Sunday school or church. I just went there because mom and dad made me. So I remember we came back and we go to people's homes and knock on their doors and say, we're from so-and-so church. And our goal was to sit down and try to save somebody. And those were cold calls. And then we had people that were in need and wanted to help, hospitals or nursing homes, or people are just struggling, someone died, and we'd go to their house, and then they wanted us to save them. And then I remember telling my Sunday school teacher, he goes, well, Robert, you're not really getting involved and you're not doing much. And I go, well, why don't we just invite them to church and let the pastor save them? I go, I'm uncomfortable doing this. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a religious scholar. I don't think I ever want to be. Yeah, I'm a Christian and I believe in God, but do I really, in order to get to heaven, do I really have to save people personally? Why can't I just point them to where the church is? And even if I don't show up that day, the pastor does it and he saves them. You don't have to be a network marketing scholar like me. I've spent 39 years reading the network marketing scrolls and the scriptures and learning everything. And yes, I've been intelligence on ice, but today I am intelligence on fire. You don't have to go out and save people to be a great network marketer is what I'm saying. All you got to do is expose them to the product. They're either going to like it or they're not. They're going to want more or they're not. They're going to share it with somebody or not. And that's it. So you don't need to know everything. I can't spell these. If you gave me a spelling test on this, I'd probably get one of them right. Okay, so you don't have to be a scholar. You don't have to just send them to the Felice Cafe building and let us take care of them. Let our system, our website, and let your salespeople do the work for you while you go about your life with your family, your friends, your loved ones, and you start building a side hustle until it turns into a full-time hustle. Okay. So anyway, I hope this training has helped today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you haven't got your sample yet, you can get it free right now. Just inbox me or call me and I'll mail one of these little guys out and let you try it yourself. Thanks a lot and I hope you have a great day.